We've already done the first legendary dog Pokemon in Nanoblock form. Now we're going for the fire type, Entei. And boy, this is one really good looking Nanoblock set. Hope I'm up for the challenge. Then again, I always am. Hey guys, Storm Turtle 1 here! Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to my latest Nanoblock Unboxing build. And this week, it is Entei, the fire legendary dog Pokemon from Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And one of the toughest Pokemon to probably ever catch in the game. The only method that I know that you could actually catch it in the game is by using a Pokemon with mean look, and then weakening it to a point that you can easily catch it with an Ultra Ball. But we have ours in Nanoblock form, so let's get to the unboxing build. And there's going to be a lot of brown and grey for this set, so expect to see quite a few of, well, bright and dark colours, and a lot of bags of pieces to go through. So, here we go. Let's see how many little bags we have for this set. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 200 pieces to go through for this build. So, and of course the instructions are double-sided. Ooh, you're gonna have my work cut out for me. Alright, so I'm gonna start off by organizing all the bricks that we'll need for this build, and then I'll show you what we've got. And it's not gonna be the little red tray that I normally use. It's gonna be one of these little boxes that you normally get in the deluxe set. So I shall see you guys in but a moment. Before we begin the video, I would like to remind everybody that I'm now streaming twice a month here on the YouTube channel. I do it on the first Tuesday of every month, and of course near the end of the month as well. So please do check out my live section on my channel to find out when I'm going live next. All the pieces are now organized, and I knew it was the right decision to actually use the cardboard tray instead of the plastic one, because this one has more space to store all the pieces that we're going to need for this build. So let's go over the browns, because that is the majority of what we've got in this tray. So we've got 8 2x2s right here. We have 3 brown L's, 5 T's, 11 2x4s, 29, I repeat, 29 2x3s here. Then we've got 18 1x2s, 4 1x1s, 19 1x3s right here. That's all the browns. Then we've got 2 different types of grey. We've got a light grey and a dark grey. So be careful when you're organizing your bricks to make sure that you don't get the normal grey and the light greys mixed up. So let's start with the light greys. We've got 5 1x4s, 2 2x2s, and 2 L's. We also have 5 1x6s right here at the end. We have 5 these are the 1x3s. There's 7 of those. We have 10 2x3s and 10 2x4s. Those are the greys. The light greys, sorry. Now for the normal greys, we have 6 1x1s, 12 1x2s, 2 1x3s right here. We also have 12 2x4s, was 8 L's, 17 2x3s, and 4 2x2s right there, in the very end, as you can see. Now we have a orange 1x3 right here, which I believe is going to be for the pupils of Entei, a white 1x3, and a white 1x2. Not sure what they're going to be for yet, but we will find out as the build goes along. We also have some other colors as well to help out with the pattern of Entei, with the build of Entei. Sorry, we've got 2 green T's and 4 2x3s here. We have a yellow 2x3, 4 yellow L's, and 7 1x1 yellow L's here. So we've got 5 of the yellow L's. We also have 4 black 2x2s here. You know, it will be difficult to, there we go. Hopefully that'll be a lot better. We also have some dark red bricks for the build as well. We have at least 8 1x2s, who's 4 1x3s, he's 4 Ls, and 4 dark red 2x2s here. So that's all the pieces that we're going to need for this Entei build, and I'm going to put the box to one side so that I can get to work on step 1 of the build, which it looks like we're working on the front of Entei. The first step of the Entei build is over and done with, and we didn't even really need to use the little display for this. But it might come in handy for later on in the build. So let's turn this over first and foremost to explain the base of step 1. I began with the normal gray 2x3 in a vertical position, and then on top of that is a brown 1x3, again in a vertical position, so that it will also support a brown 2x3, again in a vertical position, so that kind of forms a brown 3x3, if you will, right behind the grey 2x3. Then on both the left and the right sides is 2 brown 2x3s in horizontal positions, and of course you have to make sure that the middle pegs of those side 2x3s are in line with the 1x3 that is in between the grey and the brown 2x3 at the base. Then at the top is a grey 1x3 at the very front of the 2x3 that we did in the previous layer. Then a brown T where the odd peg is facing north so that it connects the grey 2x3 to the brown 1x3 that we did on the first layer. And then we put on 2 brown 2x3s in vertical position so that they can connect the 2x3s that we did on the first layer. You just have to make sure that they are not directly in front of the brown T, but only filling in the gaps of what we've done so far. So that is it for step 1 of the build. I'm now going to get to work on step 2, where we're just going to be doing something real quick. It's not really necessary to just come off camera. All we have to do is grab 2 brown Ts and 2 brown 1x2s, and then we put one underneath 1x2 under the brown T for each one, as such, and then we put it at least close enough to the grey 1x3 and the brown T that we did on step 1. And there we go. That's it for step 2. So now I can get to work on step 3, which looks like a 2-part sub-assembly, and it's going to be easy to do. It doesn't look that hard, really. So we're done with the sub-assembly for step 3, and it's really easy to do. For the first part of the sub-assembly, we just grabbed 2 brown 2x3s and placed them one on top of the other in a vertical position as such here on the screen. And then we connected them together with a brown 2x4 in a horizontal position where at least the top row of pegs is connected on the rear 2x3 right on the back here, and then the middle of the 2x4 connects underneath, well, over the 2x3 that we did at the front. Then here on the right is another brown 2x4 to help keep everything stable and together over underneath. And then at the back it is a brown 2x3 in a horizontal position alongside a brown 1x3 again in a horizontal position, so that kind of forms a 3x3, if you will. And then all we have to do is connect this onto the model as such, and that is it for step 3. So really easy to do, and now I just need to get everything together for step 4, where it looks like we're going to make this a little more structurally stable for the body of Entei. Step 4 is now completed, and we are stable again in the back of the model, but there are a few loose pieces here at the front, which is where I began with this light brown 1x2 in a horizontal position, so that it's directly over the brown T that we did in step 2. And then I placed this cream T here where the peg is facing the back of the model, heading towards the rear in the where it's going north. And then I actually placed the 2 brown 2x3s in vertical position so that they help connect everything together on the top layer. Now, if you're worried about this little gap right here on both sides of the Entei model, don't worry about it. That's actually how the model was designed for this. So it should be natural for this little nanoblock set. And then I also placed another brown 1x2 in a horizontal position. And so that's pointing towards the front of the model. Well, as such, so it should look like this. It's at this point of the build. Then I placed a brown 1x3 and here on the left side, and a 1x2 on the right, so that it kind of forms a 1x5, if you will, for this model. Then I placed these 2 brown 2x4s in horizontal positions, kind of like a mirror part of the build. And one here and one here, and they're both directly on top of the 1x3 and the 1x2 that we've done for this step. Next, I placed 2 brown 2x3s, on top of the 2x4s that we did in horizontal position, so that they are helping out with Entei's body. Then I placed this brown 1x3 in the middle to help connect everything together, so that it would then be easier to put on the brown L's, which has, this one has the gap facing the northeast, and this one is facing the northwest. So that is it for step number 4, and it is a little bit stable, but there will be some loose parts. Don't worry about that, because in step 5, it looks like we're actually going to be stabilizing more of the model. Step 5 is now completed, and as I hoped it would, this is now a little more stable thanks to the new layer of the nanoblocks. So I began with the brown 1x3s in horizontal positions, and they are positioned directly over the 1x2 that we did in step 5 on the left and the right sides of the model. Then I placed a cream 2x3 in a vertical position directly over the T that we did in the previous step as well. Also, it should help keep everything nice and stable. Then I placed 2 lots of 2x4s in horizontal position, so that it kind of forms a 2x8, if you will, to help connect everything together on the back, the body of Entei. Then on the sides is a brown 1x3 on the left and the right of Entei's body. So it should actually look like this. Don't worry about it looking a little bit odd or peculiar for the model, because that's exactly how the build is supposed to go. Then for the back here is a brown 2x4 in a vertical position, and it's mostly half of the pegs are supposed to be on the right side of the nanoblock model right here, and then on the left it is a 1x2, to help fill in the gap, so it kind of looks like a 2x5, if you will. So this is how it should look like at the end of step 5. We've got a lot of brown on the model, and we're going to be adding some more colors to this nanoblock set as we move on to step 6. Step number 6 of the build is now completed, and we've got not only a bit of brown and cream, but we've also got a little bit of dark red on the model, and of course some gray as well. So I began with the browns 1x1s here at the front over the bricks that we did, the 1x3s that we did in step 5. Then I placed another cream 2x3 in a vertical position over the cream 2x3 that we also did in step 5, just so that it helps build up the frontal chest of Entei. Then I grabbed 2 dark red 1x2 and placed them both in vertical positions, where the right half of that 1x2 is directly behind the left side, and the left half is directly behind the right side. And then once that was done, I then placed 2 brown 2x3s in horizontal positions directly over those red 1x2s that we've done here and here. Yeah, and then placed 2 more brown, a brown 1x3 and then 1x2, both in vertical positions, and so that they connect together right here. Now, don't worry about this gap right here. That is actually part of the step process, so you don't have to fill it in with anything. Just let it stay like that, and it'll all be fine. Then, this is the good part, we grabbed 6 gray 2x4s and placed them all in vertical positions, and placed 3 on the right and 3 on the left side. Now you have to make sure that at least with the right side, the left half of those 2x4s are on the model, and the right side is poking out. And of course, vice versa on the left side here. Yeah, so it should actually look like this underneath the model. And then at the back here is a brown T where the peg is facing the south, and of course the front of the model as well. So that is it for step number 6. I'm now going to get to work on step 7, where we're going to add more gray to the model and hopefully some more facial details for Entei, because it looks like we're actually working towards that right now. Step 7 is now completed, and we've got some more details for the body, the rear end of Entei, and of course some more dark red. So I began with the cream T and placed the odd peg facing north to the back of the body. Then I grabbed 2 brown 1x2s and placed them on both the left and the right side here, making sure that it's only the top half of those 1x2s that are in line with the long part of the cream T that we've done here. And then I went and grabbed 2 dark red 1x2s and placed them again in horizontal positions directly next to those brown 1x2s that we've done for that step. And to help keep everything in line is 2 brown 2x4s in horizontal positions once again, so that they connect from the front to the middle of the body. And then I grabbed 2 more brown 1x3s, again in horizontal positions, so that they help keep everything in line with the 1x2s that we've done in the dark red bricks. Then I grabbed a brown T right here and made sure that the peg was facing the front of the model. The odd peg was facing to the front, basically south. Then I grabbed 2 dark gray 2x3s and placed them in the middle of the 2x4s that we did in step 6. And of course connecting them together so that it kind of looks like a 2x6 to help keep everything steady and structural stable. And then to help keep those bricks in place is 2 brown 2x3s, both in vertical positions, and one is directly on top of the brown T right here, but another one is at least 1 row of pegs away from the front, from the first 2x3 that we've done here. So don't worry about the gap. It's actually natural for nanoblock sets to have gaps like that in the model. Then we've got 2 light gray pieces right here at the back. We've got a 2x4 here and a 1x4 here, so it kind of forms like a 3x4, and those bricks are actually both in the horizontal position, so we're actually starting to form part of Entei's tail, which is exciting because now we're going to probably add some more details in step 8 and hopefully add more to the tail. Step 8 of the build is done, and we haven't really added more detail to the tail, but we have actually added some more gray to the model, which I'll explain in a moment. So I began with the dark red L's and placed them directly over the 1x2s that we've done on the previous step, on step 7. Now the dark red L on the right is actually having the gap facing the southwest, and this one is facing southeast, in case you were wondering where they go. And it has to give the illusion that the light brown bricks that we did in the previous step is filling in the gaps with the pegs. So don't worry about filling in those gaps whatsoever. It's actually supposed to look like that. Then I placed a cream 2x3 in the vertical position where the bottom part of that vertical 2x3 is in line with the long parts of the dark red L's here. Then and of course you have to make sure that it kind of looks like this for the model, so that it's more natural than it looks like rather blocky. Then I placed 2 brown 2x2s directly over or on top of the dark red L's here and here, so that it helps carry on with the chest area for Entei. Then I grabbed a brown 1x3 and placed it in the vertical position alongside another 1x2 so it kind of looks like a 1x5. And you have to help connect everything together on the model. Then, this is the interesting part. I had to grab 2 light grey L's and place the one on the left with the gap facing the southwest, and the one on the right facing southeast. And then, directly to the back, all the way through for both sides, are 2 grey 2x4s in horizontal positions, so that they all kind of look like a 2x8. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I explained that it's really important to sort out the greys, especially with the different shades and contrast of the color bricks. You'll see why, because it can be difficult to differentiate between the light gray and the dark gray. So, a pro tip for this, be careful when you do organize your bricks, because you don't want to get the wrong brick in the wrong place for the model. So it's always important to organize before you do the build. And with that handy little tip now shared with everybody, I'm going to get to work on step 9 and add some more to the sides part of Entei. We're almost done with step 9, and it's a fairly easy step. As you can see, it's kind of 3/4 of the way done. And the reason why is because I thought it would be important to show you what you had to do, because you have to do this at least 4 times on the step. So you begin with 2 gray 2x3s, like these ones right here in my hand, and a gray 2x4. And what you have to do is you have to put at least 2 pegs of the 2x3 under either the left or the right side of the 2x4. It doesn't really matter which way you go with this. And so it kind of looks like this all around, and that part, and then you attach each one on as such, so it should look like this underneath, and of course on top. So Entei will have more details on his sides now. And we're not actually done with this little portion of the video, because we're actually going to move on to step number 10. And what we're going to do is grab 2 gray 2x2s and 2 1x1s. So we've got 2 of the gray 2x2s and 2 1x1s. And what we do is we place a 1x1 under a corner of the 2x2, one here and one here. And then what we do is we put we put the one here and another one here, so it should look like this for Entei. He's front, and then at the back is a light gray 2x3, so that it goes directly at the end of the 2x8, the 2x4 gray chain that we did for the 8th step. So this is what you should have at the end of step 10. Nice and easy, and hopefully in step 11 it'll be a little more structurally stable, because it looks a little loose to me. Step 11 is completed, and we've got a little bit more, the 2x2 gray tile bricks that we've done are a little more stable, which is good, although it is a bit loose with the 1x1s, but that is to be expected with this nanobuild set, so don't worry about that too much. So I began with the cream 2x3 in a vertical position right here, so that it helps keep the 2x2 gray tile bricks that we did in step 10 to be a little more stable. Then I grabbed a dark red 1x3 on the left and the right side here, so that it helps keep everything stable for what we do with the gray 2x2s right here at the front in vertical positions, so that it gives the illusion of Entei's noble fangs, if you will. Then I've grabbed 2 dark red 1x2 and place them both in horizontal positions, so that they connect not only dark red on the front part of both the Entei's sides, but also the brown hand parts as well, so that it still gives that illusion of the noble fang part of the model. Then we've got a lot of light grays here, so we've got a light gray 2x4 and a 1x4, both of which are in horizontal positions and connected together, so it kind of forms a 3x4, if you will. Then at the back here is a gray 2x3 and a gray 2x2, where the 2x3 is in a vertical position, and of course giving the illusion of a 2x5 to help keep everything together for the model. Then at the back here, on both sides of the 2x2, left side here and the right side of the 2x3 here, are two light gray 1x6s, both in horizontal position, so that they can help connect what we've done with the model so far. And then when you go in the middle part of the 1x6s that we've done here, there is a gray 2x3 in a vertical position to help keep everything linked together, followed by another light gray 1x3 again in a vertical position, so it kind of looks like a 3x3, if you will. And then to finish this step are two more light gray 1x3s in horizontal positions, so that they can also keep everything together. And of course there will be a little gap here, which is intended because in step 12 we've got ourselves a 3-part sub-assembly to do. So I've actually done the first 2 steps of the sub-assembly for part 12, and they're really easy once you've got everything connected. So we begin for part 1 of the sub-assembly with 3 light gray 1x6s, where there's one in the where they're kind of almost like looks like a 3x6, if you will, but the middle actually has 3 pegs down southwards, away from the rest of the sides 1x6s that we've done, and it's so that we can actually put in a light gray 1x4 in a horizontal position, so that it kind of looks like a 1x10, if you will. And you have to make sure that there is a gap here at the back where it kind of almost looks like a gray T, if you will. That'll do that first step easy. Then for step 2, we grab a light gray 2x3 here and here, place them both in vertical positions, and we can make sure that they are connecting the 1x6s that we've done and the 1x4. And then we grab another light gray 1x3 here and here, so that they help keep everything connected. And we also need another light gray 1x3 right here at the end. So that is it for the end of sub-step 2. Now for part 3, we just grab a light gray 2x4, place it on that part right here, and a 1x4 as such. So it should look like this after the end of the sub-assembly for step 12. And now we can actually attach this onto the model, so it looks from the side here. Bingo. Oh, we've got a tail for Entei, but we still got quite a bit of work to do for the model. And as I get to work on step 13, I just have a fun little message to share with everybody. Do you like what you see on the screen? The link to the video will be down in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. But for now, we're going back to the build. And don't forget, guys, you can always catch me on Twitch or Kick at 11 AM UK time, where I'm going to be playing games like Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, or Final Fantasy. And I'm always on Pokemon on Tuesday, so if you want to see me try and catch Entei in Pokemon games, Tuesday's your best bet to watch me play the game. Now, a quick little heads up before we move into the 13th step. I forgot to add 2 brown 1x2s directly behind the dark red 1x3s that we did in step 11. So you have to make sure that they are in horizontal positions directly behind those dark red 2x3s. And it's all because they help put these dark red L's in position as well. So my fault for not reading the instructions carefully again. But regardless, let's move on with step 13. So I began with the gray 1x3 in vertical position so that they're connecting over the two 1x2s that we've done in step 11. Then directly behind it is a dark red 1x3 and a 1x2, so that kind of forms a 1x5 in a horizontal position to help connect the dark reds that we've done on the sides in the previous steps. Then I placed a brown 2x3 in the vertical position to help keep everything stable with those dark red bricks that we've done. Then I grabbed two dark red 2x2s and placed them on both ends of the 2x3 that we did in the vertical position. Once those were done, I then, had to put on those brown 1x2s for the model, which I forgot to do, and then place two dark red L's where the gap on the left side here is facing the northeast, and the one here is facing the northwest. And their gaps are filled in with two brown pieces. We've got a 1x2 here and a 1x3 here, so it forms a brown 1x5, if you will. Then I placed a gray 2x3 in a horizontal position, and where it's directly over the 1x2 and the 1x3 here. And then to its right is a gray 1x3 in a horizontal position, so it kind of looks like a 3x3, if you will. Then I grabbed a light gray, two of these, 2x4s in horizontal positions, so that they are linked together. Then you have to make sure that there's a 1x4 gap right here in between those 2x4s that we've just placed. Otherwise, it won't look like a proper back. And then I placed a gray 2x3 in a vertical position to help connect everything together like a blocky curve, if you will. And that is it for step 13. And now we're going to move on to step 14, where it looks like we're actually adding the eyes of Entei. Ooh. Step 14 of the build is over and done with, and we have added the eyes for Entei, but we've also added the yellow 1x1 here at the front, which was my starting brick here, my foundation brick, if you will, because I believe we're also going to be working on the frontal crest of Entei as well, which will be in later steps, so we'll expect a lot of yellow later on in this video. And then the orange 1x3 was placed on the model next, and it was in a vertical position, as you can tell. And then right behind it is the white 1x3 and a white 1x2, and of course they are both in vertical positions, so it forms kind of like a 1x5, if you will. Then directly behind it is a dark red 1x3 and a 1x2 in the same positions as what we did with the white bricks here. And then I place a brown 2x3 and a 1x3, both in horizontal positions, so that they kind of form a 3x3, if you will. Once that was done, I then moved on to the back here of Entei, where I placed three gray 2x3s in vertical positions, where the first one is at least one row of pegs away from the brown bricks that we've done here. Then another one here, so that it's connected directly over what we've done here on this layer. And then one more here, so that it's in line with the front 2x3 that we did. And then I put on a light gray 2x2 brick to help connect everything together. So that is it for step 14. And now I'm going to get to work on step 15, where it looks like we're going to be adding some more details to Entei's, head. And hopefully the end of the back as well. Step 15 of the build is done, and yep, we've got some more yellow, and it looks like we are working on the, I believe it's the crown of Entei's head, which is the frontal feature of his face. So I began with the yellow 2x3 and placed it in the vertical position, where at least the front middle peg is directly over the yellow 1x1 that we did in step 14. And once that was done, I then grabbed two yellow L's and placed the one on the left where the gap is filled, by the 2x3. One here and one here. Once that was done, I then placed a brown 1x3 in a horizontal position directly in between the yellow L's right here, so that it starts to form more of the head of Entei. And then I grabbed two dark red 2x2s and placed them on both the top left and the top right. And of course behind the yellow L's that we've done here. And finally, a brown 1x3 in a vertical position to help form more of the crown of Entei's head. Then here at the back is the end of the light grayish effects of the model. Is a 2x4 and a 1x4, or both in horizontal positions, connected together like a 3x4, and to make sure that it's a nice curved effect for the back of Entei. And with that over and done with, we can now move on to step 16, where we're going to be adding some more yellow, and of course trying to get more of the head of Entei done. Step 16 of the build is over and done with, and we have added some more yellow bricks onto the model. But I really didn't start out with this yellow 1x1 here. That was actually the third brick that I added. The foundation brick that I used was this yellow L right here, where the gap is facing the northwest. And I placed the long part of it. It's on the left side and the middle part of the back of the yellow 2x3 that we did here. Then I went to the right and placed this yellow 1x1 here and the 1x1 here. That was that for the yellows at the moment. Then I went and placed a brown L where the gap was facing the southwest, and it's filled by the yellow L that we did at the beginning. Once that was done, I then grabbed a brown L and a brown 1x2 and placed it in a horizontal position and filled the gap of the yellow L with it. And when that was done, I then placed a brown 2x3 in a vertical position directly on top of the L and the 1x2 browns that we've done for the steps so far. And followed it up with two more yellow L's, where this one has the gap facing the northwest and this one is facing northeast. And of course you have to make sure that it is at least directly over the head as such right here, and at least one peg over the yellow I can find it here, yep, the yellow L's that we did in step 15. One here and one here. So it should look like this after the end of step 16. And when that is over and done with, and of course everything's fixed with the mouth of Entei, we can then move on to step 17. Step 17 is completed, and we're almost done with the head of Entei. We've just got a few little details to do in step 18, which I'll do on camera in just a moment. So I began with the yellow 1x1 in the very middle of the yellow L that we did in step 16. And when that was done, I then grabbed a brown 1x3, put it in a horizontal position directly on top of the yellow 1x1 that we've done here. And that was followed by three brown 1x2s, both all in horizontal positions, one directly on top of the 1x3, so it forms a 1x5. And then two on the left, one here, and one here. And it's directly in line with the middle and the top pegs of the 1x3 that we have done for this model. And when that was done, I grabbed two yellow 1x1s and placed one at the end here and one at the end here. So it should look like this. It's for the model after that step. And now that that step is over and done with, we can move on to step 18 and add the final little details to the head of Entei, which is a light brown 1x2. Which will help keep that 1x3 and 1x2 connected. And one yellow 1x1 here. So it should look like this now at the end of step 18. And now we can move on to step 19 and 20, where it's basically the same thing, but on on both sides. We only do it one at a time, but I'll show you what you have to do in a moment. Okay, so I've done step 19 so far, and I've almost done step 20. So this is what both sides of Entei should look like after the end of step 20. But to begin with, for each step 19 and 20, you place a gray 2x4 in a vertical position, and you place it right in the middle of the two 2x4s that we did in the earlier steps right here. And then two gray L's, where the one on this side has the gap facing in the northwest on the bottom left, southwest on the top left, northeast on the top right, and northeast on the bottom right. And once that is done, we then add these very interesting builds for the step. We begin with a gray 2x2 and two 1x2s, and we place one on the bottom part and another on the top part, and you have to make sure that they are not lined up with each other. And then you place it directly over the 2x4 that we've put on. Then we grab two gray L's. We put one and a 1x2, and we place one of the 1x2 underneath the L like this. Nice and easy. And a 1x1 at the tip, like this. So it should then attach onto that. And then the same again, but in the exact opposite direction. Here and one here. And that is it for step 20. So it should look like this after, well, for step 20. For Entei's cloud mane for the back for his body, and now we're going to have to turn this upside down so we can get to work on step 21, where we're going to be building the rear legs of Entei. Okay, so step 21 is almost done. We do have I do have to explain what we have to do for each for this part. So we begin with two round 2x3s, and we place one on top of the other, where at least it's showing two pegs for the hind legs right here. Then another 2x3 on top of the middle this one right here, and then we place a brown 1x3. Now one on the left side and one on the right, and what we do is for the right side we place it right here. And then for the left side, we place it right here. So it should all look like this. Yes, and that is it for step 21. Really easy to pull off. Now we just need to make the paws for step 22 for Entei. So we've done the rear paws of Entei, but we've not yet added them onto the model because I had to explain what I had to do for those 2 feet. So each requires a gray 2x3 in a vertical position, and at the bottom left, and of course right here is a brown 2x2 for each one. Now for the left leg, it has to be on the right side, and the left leg, it has to be on the left side here. Here we go. So it should all look like this. Then each one has to have a brown 2x3 in horizontal position so that it's over the brown 2x2s that we've done and hovering over the gray 2x3 for the feet. And once those bricks are in position, we can put on a black 2x2, which are for Entei's kind of like his cuffs for his legs. And when they are in position, we can then each attach them onto the model as such. One here, and one here. So that is what it should look like after step 22. Once I get this back in position, there we go. So Entei has his rear legs. Now we just have to do his front legs in step 23, which is the end, well, coming up to the end of the build. Okay, so we're almost done with step 23. We do have the assembly process to go through for this. So we begin with, for each one, a gray 2x3 and a 1x2, as you can see right here on the camera. Now, for the left side of Entei, the gray 1x2 should be on the right side of the 2x3, and the right side should have the 1x2 on the left side of the 2x3. Once those are in position, we then grab a brown 2x3 here, so we connect them, so we can connect them both. The gray 2x3s as such, so it should look like this, and this underneath the models. Then we grab a brown 2x2 and we put it on the rear part of the 2x3 that we've just used to connect the gray pieces, and then a black 2x2 over the brown 2x2 that we've done, and then finally one more brown 2x2 so that we have two matching pores. And before we actually add these on, we do have one more little bricks to add onto Entei, which are these brown 1x1s, which we put at the front, the very base of the model here, and one here. Perfect. And then we can attach the pores for Entei onto the model. And here it is. The legendary fire dog Pokemon ready to chase around, well, run around the Johto and Kanto region. Did you like my little unboxing video? If you did, why not check out my other content right here? I have a nice little video for a Nanoblock set from a video game series, or I have a playlist right here for all of my past builds. And if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can help the channel grow, and ring the bell to get notified on my latest videos. Happy gaming guys, and I'll see you at the next unboxing build.